Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment. You know, the COVID-19 Delta variant is raging through the U.S. right now, putting patients on hemodialysis, or HD, at higher risk for infection. Well, joining us on the program is John Milad. He's joining us as CEO of Quanta Dialysis Technologies to talk about how this time can be used as a catalyst for positive change in the care of HD patients through accessible remote care, and why innovation is needed now to bring a positive impact to the healthcare system and patients overall. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, John. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Neil. Thank you for having me.
Well, give our listeners a bit of your professional background, if you would, and talk briefly about being CEO of Quanta.
Delighted to. So my professional background is almost entirely focused on the healthcare sector, and in particular, innovation in healthcare. And I've come at it from three different perspectives. I initially started off as an investment banker on Wall Street and in the City of London, covering the sector, the healthcare sector, and working with the younger companies that were looking to IPO and come to market, and also to do merger and acquisition transactions to grow their businesses. And I have to say that as I spent time with these businesses, my fascination to get closer to them only grew. And so I transitioned that to going from being effectively an advisor to working with investment platforms that seek to identify the innovators that they're going to back. And so I was an asset manager on the buy side for many years at a number of different funds, initially a family office, which made one of the world's first investments in digital health into a company that today is known as WebMD. I was with one of the world's leading life sciences venture investors for a period of time, Atlas Venture, working out of the London office, and then I was a partner at MBGI Ventures, which was a London-based venture fund that focused specifically on medical technology sector. And alongside that, I had an opportunity initially when I was at Atlas to step in to help run a portfolio company. And I did that for a couple of years and really enjoyed that. And then when I was later in my career, when I was a partner at MBGI, a similar opportunity arose where one of my investee companies, which was Quanta, where I was involved in, along with a group of co-investors, creating the company and setting up the Series A that got it going. I was invited by that group to step in and to run it after 5 years of working with them as a non-exec on the board. And so since 2014, my full-time and sole professional occupation and personal vocation in life has been to help drive the vision of Quanta forward, to bring to reality our objective, which is to bring much-needed flexibility to life-sustaining dialysis care for the benefit of patients and the other stakeholders in the health system.
So how do you plan to accomplish that goal as far as bringing that dialysis care directly to chronic and acute kidney disease patients? And if you would, briefly, a few of the details about the company's recent Series D funding round.
Of course. So, well, I'll start with what we're doing, right? So the company was created around some insights, a vision, and some foundational IP technology that allows for the fluid management of dialysis, which is one of the key things that a dialysis machine does. Is it generates what's called a dialysate fluid, which is an electrolyte solution, which is used, put in very simple terms, to wash or clean the blood through a filter, something called a dialyzer. And traditional devices have a lot of complex plumbing inside of them to manage the creation of this fluid and the accurate management of it. And what we have is a technology that allows for all of that to happen on a small disposable cartridge. Mm-hmm. With this technology, we were able to make a dialysis machine much smaller and lighter and less complex, allowing in effect for us to have a portable and simple dialysis system, and to still provide the technical performance and clinical care, equivalent to what the big complex machines do. So that was our core technology, was putting all this stuff on a cartridge. Mm-hmm. And with that core technology, we built around it a contemporary hemodialysis system that allows for flexibility. Flexibility in terms of, one, flipping the delivery paradigm on its head to make it possible to bring dialysis to where the patients are, as opposed to the prevalent model of organizing the transport and delivery of patients to machines and clinics where they reside. Secondly, to simplify a complex therapy, to make it more accessible to a broad range of operators, including patients themselves, so that they could, for example, dialyze themselves at home. And then combining all of that with a high-performance system that delivers the standard of care in dialysis. So ensuring that this medical device could deliver dialysis as it's known and understood by clinicians around the world, not compromising on the performance such that the device isn't limiting the prescriptions or the treatment options that are available. And that's what we have. We have a portable tabletop hemodialysis system that is intuitive and easy to use. We have the lightest and smallest dialysis generator in the world. We have a product that's been proven in formal studies to be something that people could train up on in as little as 6 hours. And we have, again, in published clinical studies, clinical performance that's equivalent to what larger, more complex devices do. So we've got all those basics in place, and we're now commercial. We've been offering our product in the UK for the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. We just launched in the US over the summer, and we're taking this product that we've worked on, refined, and validated into real-world clinical use and into commercialization. And this is, it's an exciting time, right? So this is the thing that we've worked so hard on for so long. We're now seeing the impact it can have on patients' lives, the ability to give more flexibility and bring efficiency to the delivery of healthcare to our customers, the dialysis providers. So this is really the truly exciting time for us. And you asked about the Series D, so the last fundraising that we just recently closed in June. The intention of that is to give us the financial resources needed to take this great product and to build a great company that will be able to successfully put this into the hands of as many customers and users as possible to achieve our vision, mm-hmm. And to help our customers and users have more flexibility and better efficiency in how they deliver this life-sustaining therapy. And we're really proud of the fact that we closed the largest round ever for a dialysis private funding for a dialysis equipment manufacturer. We closed on just under $250 million. It's really empowering. It also puts on us a tremendous responsibility to deploy that capital in the way that maximizes the value of the business, de-risks our execution, and allows us to achieve our vision and our objectives. So exciting times, and really, I have to say this is so far of my involvement in the company since it was created in 2009. It's always been wonderful and great, but this is really the most exciting and heroic phase yet.
Having worked on it for so long, as you say, and for, so hard for so long, briefly, how has the pandemic affected the development and the rollout? It's recently rolled out and available. What have you learned from the pandemic, and how is that going to affect the future of Quanta? So,
there's a saying that the fortune favors the prepared. So the pandemic was something that created opportunity for Quanta. Obviously, it creates a huge burden around the world, and I don't in any way wish to trivialize that. It's been traumatic for all of us in many ways. For Quanta, we were fortunate to have completed development of our platform before, and we had CE mark already in hand in Europe, and we were preparing to do our commercial launch with the NHS when the pandemic hit. And it did throw us a curveball in that we were lining up to use our device in the dialysis clinics and to train patients to go home. And ironically, the pandemic meant that a lot of that stuff came to a grinding halt because there were staff shortages, as they were redeployed to other parts of the health system. And so, but at the same time that got a bit complicated for us, there were urgent cries from our NHS partners and customers to address a dire shortage of renal replacement therapy equipment in the ICU. So the ICUs were overcrowded, weren't enough beds. There also weren't enough renal replacement or dialysis systems to treat something like a quarter of the patients coming in who also had kidney failure as a result of multi-organ failure that COVID caused. So there was a desperate need for more dialysis capacity, and we were there standing ready to support the NHS. So we released all of our launch stock to several NHS hospitals that were able to then address critical shortages of equipment. And in addition, they really benefited from the fact that we had designed SC Plus to be easy to train and easy to use, so that their staff, they were short-staffed, they were pressing people into ICUs who weren't necessarily even ICU specialists, and they probably weren't dialysis specialists, and they were able to successfully train, we were able to successfully train dozens, if not hundreds of clinical practitioners to use this device they had never seen before in a very short time. Most of them learned to use it in under 6 hours, and then to bring that into the ICU and provide critical life-sustaining care to the patients there. So we were really proud of that moment. We were proud of the role we could play. We also, I think it was a great way for us to build as a new manufacturer coming to the market, to build trust and rapport with our NHS customers.
John, give us a website where we can learn more about Quanta, if you would, in closing.
So Quanta has its own website, quantadt.com. You can also follow us on social media. The full name of the company is Quanta Dialysis Technologies. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook. And I also maintain a social media presence with a heavy slant on Quanta, but using my own voice. You can find me on Twitter at JEMILAD.
Well, I appreciate you joining us here on Health Professional Radio, John. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with John Milad, CEO of Quanta Dialysis Technologies. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download it, SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.